Vladimir Putin's top NATO targets across Europe revealed as war tensions soar.
Top NATO generals have warned the alliance may have as little as 3 years to prepare for a potential direct strike from Vladimir Putin. Putin justified his invasion of Ukraine, citing concerns of NATO admitting new members, a scenario which ultimately became reality as a direct result of his hostility. With Sweden now securing the go-ahead to become a member, NATO's military chiefs are warning Putin could launch a new military offensive against European targets, both civilian and military. They warned Germany would become the first likely target because of the pivotal position the Central European country holds for supply lines across the continent. The threat would extend to munition factories, power plants, command centers as well as key transport infrastructure, they told The Times. Lieutenant General Alexander Salfrank, who oversees operations at NATO's Military Logistics Center in Germany, said, "If we compare war and operations 10 years ago or 5 years ago, then we realize that we have to accept that also the rear areas will be severely contested. We have to assume that an aggressor will use the whole spectrum of kinetic and non-kinetic force in order to destroy lines of communication, also in the rear area. That ranges from acts of sabotage through electronic warfare and cyber to kinetic possibilities through missiles, drones and so on." Since before Ukraine's invasion, NATO has increased its presence in key nations across Eastern Europe due to the increased risk of a Russian attack. Poland has been viewed as another eligible target for Putin because of its proximity and historical links to both the USSR and the Russian Empire, factors the Russian leader cited in his justification for Ukraine's invasion in his interview with Tucker Carlson. Sweden, as the newest member of NATO, has also been tipped for a potential invasion, with Swedish General Mikael Bydén telling the public they should prepare for war. Retired U.S. General Mark Hertling, who once served as Commanding General of United States Army Europe, suggested the enclave of Kaliningrad could instead be Putin's next objective. Kaliningrad, which stands between Lithuania and Poland, is still part of Russia but was split from the mainland after the USSR collapsed in 1991 and Lithuania became an independent republic. He said, "With Sweden joining NATO, many are posting a map showing a NATO lake as the Baltic Sea. But there's danger here. Most haven't heard of Kaliningrad or the Suwałki Gap. Those of us who have served in Europe believe if Ukraine falls, this will be the next Russia expansion." Warnings of an expansion of the conflict zone come as Putin on Thursday said that deploying Western troops to Ukraine could result in a global nuclear war. In an apparent reference to French President Emmanuel Macron's statement earlier this week that the future deployment of Western ground troops to Ukraine should not be ruled out, Putin warned that it would lead to tragic consequences for the countries who decide to do that. Putin noted that while accusing Russia of plans to attack NATO allies in Europe, Western allies were selecting targets for striking our territory, and talking about the possibility of sending a NATO contingent to Ukraine.